Hello champions, good morning everyone. Hope you all are very much enthusiastic to continue with the session and you are preparing for your exam in a very speedy manner. So I think proper revision is going on. You are taking proper diet. That means you are eating, actually having proper food, and you are also taking rest. That means rest in quick intervals so that you don't get exhausted. But before starting the session, actually, what I just want to add here is that today is 19th and only 2 days left for your exam. So hope you all have prepared for the exam, and those who have your slots on 21st, that is on Sunday, today is Friday. So on Sunday, those who have your exam, be prepared for the exam in such a way that you have your admit cards with you, that means your ticket hall, and you have an identity card along with the photo. For example, it may be a PAN card, Aadhaar card, or your even these two will do. So PAN card and Aadhaar card is hope you all have, being a 12th standard student. So what you can do is that you need to keep prepared everything and a pen and also your extra passport size photographs that you need to take along with you. But because nothing will be allowed in the exam once you enter it, you can't wear watches, earrings, rings, anything. So keep all your possessions in your bag, which will be kept in the counter itself, and be sure that each and every student get your rough pages so that you can calculate some of the things in the from the GT paper, reasoning, or it may be quants, and you can also jot down some of the things in the rough page for so that you don't need to move to and fro in the exam hall in the slides of the question paper. So hope you all maintain this prerequisite before the exam and maintain the decorum of the exam hall in order to ensure that the exam is coordinated in a healthy and normal way. So with this piece of advice, let's start the session, and the session is a bit lengthier because this is a marathon session and we have a set of questions which are very much they are actually the probable questions which may come in your exam, and the questions that we are doing here in the sessions here are very important. Go through the sessions before the exam. That means if you have day after tomorrow, you can just go through the sessions today and do take proper rest tomorrow, because day after tomorrow you have the exam, and tomorrow at least take rest so that you don't get exhausted. Yes, let's start. So this is my lecture 3 for English, and let's start with a cloze test, because in the previous session we have done a passage, a comprehension, and there will be one more thing I'm just adding here is that last year there were 3 comprehensions, and out of the 3 comprehensions, each comprehension had 5 questions each. So these comprehensions were very easy because you just need to relate the questions with the comprehension. So be very minute and be very precise while reading the question, as I have. If you are following me thoroughly, you can see that I have given the minor silly mistakes. I have pointed the silly mistakes, the minor mistakes that students usually do in the CBT based exam hall. So there what happens, you have the question paper in front of you. That means not the tangible question paper, but the screen on over you, and in the screen you need to read each and every line minutely. And also remember that along with understanding the sentences, the questions, you also need to have a proper time management so that you can complete the 40 questions according to the domain in accordance with the time. So that is very important for you all to complete the session along with the correction. that the correction is done. Correction means the correct sentences or correct options are opted here. So what happens there, even if you are making some of the mistakes or your question may be, your option may be wrong, you will be given a negative marking of 1 mark. So it is also there that most of the students have prepared for the exam, but apart from preparing, a few things may remain vague or it may confuse the student at the time of the opportune time, that is the exact time of the exam hall. So then and there what happens, you need to actually out of, it is a trick actually, it is, the trick is that out of the 4 options, for example here there are 4 options, out of the 4 options, if you are totally confused with all the options, you can just make an assumption and you can just strike out. For the students who have prepared genuinely, you can opt for the correct answer, but when you are confused with all the 4 options, try to strike out the wrong options or whatever you can understand. Try to relate the question with your understanding, with your previous understanding and with your revision, so that at the same time you have to think about the time also. So time along with the assumptions with the 4 options, what you can do is that strike out first 1, then 2, then the 3rd. So when the 3 options are striken out, then you can go for the option which is still 50-50 chances are there. Still you are confused, but to some extent you are prompt. That means you are prompt on the basis of 50-50, half and half promptness is there while opting the option. So that will also help you, but do remember that each and everyone is not lucky enough to crack the exam. So be very sure that you opt the correct answers apart from the confusing question. So the other thing should be clear, your concepts, your vocabulary, your understanding should be clear, because this exam is a very simple exam, is only to assess your understanding. Don't be panic stricken at this time, because it is on the onus is upon you what you do in the exam. So be very much sure that you opt the correct option, and whenever you are confused, strike out the 3 other options that you are not very sure and go for the 4th option that you are 50-50 sure. That may help you, and if it is not helping, that will give you negatively a negative marking, but still you are on the safe side, because total mark is 5 and out of 5 only 1/5 will be deducted, that is only 1 mark will be deducted. Still you are getting 4 marks from the other questions which you have opted the correct one. So, hope you can understand the mathematical division of the marking system, the strategy, the trick where you can go for the confusing questions even, because you still have 40 questions and 10 questions are on the stock. Out of the 10 questions, you can strike anything. So 40 questions is a must, and at the last, after attempting all the questions that you know, go to the last sheet where you will in the side, that is in the right hand side, you will know how many questions you have opted, which will be in the color green. So when you will see that the color is green, and you have seen that when the color is green, you know that these are the questions that you have given the answers. So do check how many questions you have opted, how many answers you have given. So that should be not less than 40 and not more than 40. Yes. So exact number is 40, and be sure 40 is the answers or options that you have given. So do remember this 40. Okay. So now we have a cloze test. Let's start with the session. Cloze test. Now all of a sudden, so when you are already under stress that what can be the questions, you may think that what is cloze test. All of a sudden this word came. We know the spelling of cloze as C-L-O-S-E, cloze, but this is cloze. So why this is cloze test? Cloze test is actually a test which is going to assess your understanding of preposition, determiners and vocabulary as a whole. And closed test is actually what? There is a paragraph with some gaps or with some blanks where you need to put according to your understanding the options. So it is very important that you go through the passage at least twice. Twice will help you, because in the first reading you may not understand, but twice when you read, then you can at least assume what is the topic or what can be the sentence or passage be about. Yes. So the first thing is the palace. The palace. Read the closed test. Read the passage and fill the gaps accordingly. The palace is open dash tourist dash 11 a.m. dash 8 a.m. dash all weekdays except on Fridays. Entry to the palace is free for all. So here we are getting a passage which is about tourists who are about to visit or who are allowed to visit a palace from this time to this time. So you can assume that what kind of preposition or what kind be the words can be placed in these closed test, in these gaps. So the palace is open. It should be for. Yes, I hope so. It should be for, because for, from, for. So we have 3 fors and 1 from. So we need to do for. Tourist, for tourist from. Yes, from, because why? There is a timing from this to this. Whenever there is a slab given from this time to this time, or there is a timing given, we have to place from here, the preposition. Then we have 11 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then for all weekdays. The palace is open for tourists from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Do keep reading along with me. On all weekdays. On. It should be on all weekdays except on Fridays. So we have for, from, to, on. For, from, to, on, to, on. So we have the D option, that is, this is correct. For, from, to, on. So hope this is clear with the closed test. Closed tests are very simple. You just need to crack out the correct options. So at times you may get confused, and at times what happens, students do this silly mistake that whenever they are placing the examples or the words here, they may be correct for the first instance here, but while opting the options here, they may give in place of D, you all may place C. So when you have tick mark C except of D, so what happens? This will be wrong, this will be correct. So whenever you are in a hurry, actually you are panic stricken, you are under stress, you are in the CBT mode of exam, so we can understand what kind of stress or phobia or panic you are going through. But you need to be composed, you need to be calm while opting the options, because it is the options that you clear or that you click. Because it is CBT, I am not going to give the thing like that when you are drawing. Otherwise, in the paper mode, it was like that you have to color. You have to circle or darken the circle in this way. So it took, it used to take a lot of time, patience, because you need to do the darkening of the circle in the proper way, no striking out, no you can say, no use of whitener, etc, etc. So when you are darkening actually the circles, that used to take a lot of time, and because of the help of technology, we are in the next level of exam conduction where we can only just click. So it is very easy for us, for the teachers, for the examiners, for the invigilators, and as well as for the students. It is very easy for you all to give the exam, because no hurdle of paper, no wastage of paper, no wastage of extra time, no extra the consumption of time in doing these darkenings. Yes. So what happens here is that when you are clicking, when you are ticking the options, be very sure which option you are ticking for, A, B, C, D. So be very clear and precise and take your time because 40 questions are there, and you also should know that 40 should be 40, not 39, not 41. Yes? So, let's continue with the next question. Hope this close test is clear. Yes? Will I rub? Yes? Moving on to the next question. The spectators were too gullible to believe on the tricks played by the magician. Give the synonym of the quoted word. So what we are getting here, though a full sentence, actually these kind of questions are time consuming because directly the invigilator or the examiner could have given the question that give the synonym of the word gullible. But here the entire sentence you have to read the sentence. But at the same time, when it is time consuming, it is also giving you the hint actually. What kind of hint? The hint, the sentence, once you read the sentence, whenever the question is direct, in the direct mode of the question, you are very much prone to make mistake. Actually, you make mistakes at that point of time. But when a proper sentence, a complete sentence with a complete meaning is given in the question itself, so while reading the sentence, you understand what can be the option or what can be the meaning or what can be the antonym or synonym of the quoted word. So in that way, the examiner is trying to help you to understand the question or the tricks. So we need to find out the trick or the loose point in the question itself in order to answer the correct option, even if you are confused with the meaning of the word given here. So whatever may be the question, because the words which are asked in the synonyms and antonyms are not very common and are not very commonly used by us. So in that sense, what happens when pray for your luck, for your destiny, that you get questions of synonyms and antonyms along with the sentence itself. So when you are getting the sentence, you can understand, you can assume what can be the meaning, or at least you can have a 50-50 chance of understanding the meaning. First you know the meaning, the first step is the meaning, then you know the antonym, or you can search for the antonym. So the question ends here with the sentence. So what is the sentence given here? The spectators are or were too gullible. Who are the spectators? Spectators are the people, actually the audience, who have gathered in a place to be entertained or to see some kind of a visual interpretation. There is something which is shown visually, or you can hear it, or it may be a concert, or it may be an orchestra, anything. So they are the spectators who are gathered there. So actually they are the audience, but they are looking, or they are open to some kind of visible entertainment, and so we add the word spectator. Okay, from the word spectators, spectator. So here what happens, too gullible to believe on the tricks played by the magician. So here the spectators are actually too gullible. When the spectators are they are very much convinced that the magician is showing the tricks which are genuine, or which we can say that they believed in the tricks played by the magician which are very original. So they believed in the tricks. So when the magician is showing some kind of tricks to the audience, what happens is that the people there are actually amazed. Whenever we are watching something, a magic show, so we are amazed. We used to get amazed with the show, with the magic, with the tricks shown in the entertainment. So being spectators, we enjoy the magical tricks or magical shows. So what we are actually, when we are spectator, when we place ourselves in the form of being watching we are the audience, what we are actually open. We are actually open to what we are prone to believing, whatever the magician is trying to show us. So what we can understand here, that we are open to what? For the anything or everything which is shown by the magician in the sentence here. So referring back to the sentence, if I am the audience here and you are the magician here, if you are showing some kind of trick to me, then I am actually open to believe on the tricks, and I am totally amazed by the tricks that you are showing me. So that is the way in which you can actually assume the meaning. So here is gullible means open, or when you are very prone. So what is here, the question is again, silly mistakes are made in the concept of the word. Either it will be synonym or antonym, or we can also say the addition of these words. This is a dangerous word. Dangerous in the sense, why? Because whenever the question is given, find the word not similar to the meaning of this quoted word. So find the meaning of the word not similar, not same, not the meaning. So whenever we get the word not, usually whenever we read a sentence, what happens? We have a thinking of an affirmation that is that the question is direct, that the question doesn't have any negative affirmations or anything which is negative or anything which is not. So we have the tendency, our human mind or human psychology have the tendency of getting the question to the point or direct. But when we are getting a question which is coming from different corners or different sides with some kind of a negativity or with some kind of a trick, so that and then and there what happens, we are gullible to make mistakes. We are prone to make mistakes. So be very sure that whenever you get this word, I should have written it in red. So this is a word which is very dangerous. Here you can see the danger. So be very sure that you read this word whenever it is there. Go through the question thrice. I am telling you, not twice even. Go through the question thrice. Okay. So here gullible, let's move on to come to the point. So synonym, grateful, readiness, stubborn, magician. Magician is wrong totally. Stubborn means to stop or to be strict. Or to be very much closed. Readiness is actually open, and grateful means where you are thankful. So our correct answer is readiness. Yes. So this is the correct answer. Readiness, that means they are gullible. The spectators were gullible to see or go through the magical shows or tricks shown by whom? The magician. So hope this is clear. Next we have question number 3. We have right dash liberty dash our fundamental right. So here it is written about the fundamental right of right to liberty. Now, whenever we are getting, when we are speaking about the constitution, when we are speaking about the rights, the fundamental rights and fundamental duties, be very sure that the word, the prepositions which are used in between the words, it should be clear according to the constitution. So here we have the right. A lot of students may make mistake, right of liberty, right for liberty, right with liberty. So the correct answer, don't make mistake with for. Don't make mistakes with for, of, with. So why? Because right actually is a word which can be applied only with right to. Yes. Right to liberty, right to equality, right to constitutional remedies. So all the 6 fundamental rights. So you should also know these fundamental rights, because from your GT point of view, you should have an understanding of these things also. So we have the right to liberty dash our fundamental right. So what it is? Actually it is a fundamental right, and we can say or we can put the word as here. So to and as is the correct answer. Yes, hope this is clear. We have added this question in between here, because at the same time you will know the use of preposition, and at the same time you will also understand that fundamental rights and duties, our preamble, our constitution is actually very important from your knowledge. You should have little bit of general knowledge based on our constitution and the rights that we are guaranteed or we are ensured with. Yes, so we have some kind of rights. So what are they? We should know. So you should know what rights you have being a citizen of the nation or being about to be a citizen. Okay, so hope this is clear. Question number 4. If crew is to sailors, then dash is to travelers. Now, what you see there, here the concept, when you see that there is a kind of an analogy given in the question itself, you understand that you try to find some kind of relation. What kind of relation? Relation on the basis of crew to this and sailors to this. So the point should be clear. Like for example, grammatically, what we will say, 1:2 and 2:4. And we can also say later on. So here what happens, we need to find the relation with these two things. So similarly, when we are placing this kind of an analogy, try to find out the ratio between them, and the relation should be based on the ratio. So it should be clear what you understand from here. So crew is to sailors. Now when we use crew, the word crew, it is something which is related with collection or more than one. So what it is actually from the grammatical point of view, crew is actually the collective noun. So here you should go back again to the collective noun, that is one of the 5 form of nouns: abstract noun, proper noun, common noun, collective noun, and what was there? An uncountable noun. So collective noun, what we have, like for example, group of singers, choir of singers, actually choir of singers, group of players, team of players, flock of birds. So words, a lot of words you can add in the comment section, whatever you have, whatever you know about in relation to the collective noun. So here what happens, crew is to sailors, then what is to travelers? So for travelers we have the collective noun, that is karava. Karava is the word which we can relate with travelers. So we have heard this word karava of travelers, or the karava is going on. So when we mention or when we refer to karava, that is actually a group of people who are moving from one place to another. So in ancient times, people used to move from one place to another. They used to get translocated when they find some kind of deficiency or some kind of problem in the present place. So they move in search of food and water to another place, and they translocate. So when they translocate, they actually evacuate the place. That means they make the place empty where they were living earlier. So what we do, what we term the people who are traveling in their bullock carts, in their pullers, handcart pullers from one place to another, at that point of time, ancient point of time, we used to term the word karava. Yes, so karava of travelers. So the correct option is karava. Hope this is clear. Next, moving on to the next question. Question number 5. What is the abstract noun form of long? So long we have, these are the options, longitude. So the question, be very clear with the question, because here the concept is abstract noun, not the noun. All other forms are noun. This is very important. All these forms are noun forms. But what we need to find out the abstract noun, and what is this? It is length. Yes. So in order to know the noun forms, you should know what word or identify a word according to their part of speech. So you should know when you are using a word or when you are getting this kind of questions, you should know that what is the form of the word. It is noun or pronoun or verb, adverb or adjective. Yes. Next. Hope this is clear. Next question number, choose the correct spelling. So harassment, whenever you get harassment, so it is always double S, not double R. Yes, harassment, harassment. So the emphasis on S. So what we will do, this is the correct spelling with a single R and double S. So next we have identify the figure of speech in the sentence. Wait, I will here mark it here. So the correct option is harassment with single R and double S. So the emphasis is upon double S when we pronounce. Next, identify the figure of speech in the sentence. I wandered lonely as a cloud. If you have gone through the poem The Daffodils of William Wordsworth, then you will see that this is the first sentence from the poem I wandered loudly as a cloud. So this is about the poem. This is the line from the poem The Daffodils. So refer to the poem Daffodils. A lot of poetic speeches are used by the poet. The daffodils. And whenever we are writing actually daffodils, it should be in the color yellow. But sorry, the color yellow is not there in my option. So think this green to be yellow. So I wandered loudly as a cloud. Here there is a comparison of a cloud with I and with the word as. So it is simile. Yes. Next, moving on to the 8th question, that is, first impression is the last impression. Identify the figure of speech. Now these kind of sentences here, there is no kind of a comparison, there is no kind of a relation with inanimate or animate objects. So when we are going with the options, you have only two options left. Either it is simile or it is cliche. Now what is cliche? Cliche is the figure of speech where some words or sentences or group of words are written or meant in order to have some kind of an obsolete identification, or where in the contemporary point of time these words or these sentences have lost the value or the original value which it had in the ancient or medieval times. So first impression is the last impression is not applicable in this contemporary point of time, because first impression may not be the last impression, or first impression may be changed accordingly or gradually. So it is what? It is the figure of speech that is cliche. Yes. Next we have question number 9, ubiquitous. Give the synonym. Now see, there is no sentence here. So what you can do, whenever we get the word ub or omni, so these kind of prefixes when joined with other parts with alphabets, it makes some sentence, it makes some words, and the meaning of these words is every. So whenever we get this kind of words, we have everywhere, or you can say present everywhere. So here ubiquitous means the person or the thing which is very much present everywhere. So we can also say rare and sudden is not applicable. So the correct option is common. That means it is present everywhere. So it is what? Ubiquitous means common or present everywhere. So next we have question number 10. The car is fast dying. Identify the figure of speech. Now see, when the car, actually it is an inanimate object and it is compared with comparison with the attribute of dying. So who dies actually? A person who has life, a thing which has life. That means animals, or we social animals, that is human being. So how can a car die? Because it is a non-living thing, or it is an inanimate object. So when there is a comparison of inanimate with animate or animate with inanimate, what we can say, the comparison is personification, that is the figure of speech. So the correct answer is personification. Yes. Next we have question number 11. find the odd one out. So this type of questions are frequently asked in your exam when you have to identify what are the words and what is the relation of the four words out of which okay, here I can see a few students have joined me. So thank you. Thank you, Lokesh, for watching my session and going through the session. I hope that you are preparing, Lokesh, you are preparing for the exam in a very minute way. So the odd one out. So when you find the odd one out, you have to find the odd one out from these four words. So you can see goal is also something which is related with aim. Motive is also related with aim. Desire is also related with aim. But option is something which doesn't go directly to aim but indirectly to aim. So option has some kind of options here. That means A, B, C, D. So options, you have to go through the options, then you can go to the aim. So the other things directly comes to the option, to the word, that is aim. But option is something which doesn't directly come to the concept of aim. So we will find here the quest ends with the word that is option. Yes, hope this is clear. Next question, number 11. Elephants, trumpet, horse, dash. So whenever we have to relate with sounds, actually, what elephants, what is the loud count of noise that elephants make? That is trumpet. Then similarly, because this is an analogy in the form of a ratio, so what we have, this is sound. So when it is sound, we have to relate again with sound itself. So what is the kind of sound made by horse? It is nothing else but it is neigh. So what is the sound made by horse? It is neigh. So these things you have done in the primary level where you have gone through collective noun, proper noun, that is one word substitution. You have got this in higher classes also. And the sounds made by animals, they are tiny ones, that means the baby one of the animals. You know this. But at times of this exam, you may lose the context or you may not relate. But still you can find out the correct word by assuming something. So neigh is always related with with horses. Gallop, trot, trumpet with elephant, and with sounds, that is neigh. So then we have the option B is the correct option. I thought of giving a list of animals. I can just add this in the in tomorrow's class, or I can also add the sounds of animals by after today itself. You can just go through the website. I will give a short class on sounds of animals. Yes, there will be a list given. This is going to help you. Next, choose the odd one out. Barely, profusely, scarcely, and rarely. Now see, all these are adverbs. So what these adverbs are telling is that it is telling that something which is very little. We can also not say a little, because a little has something, some of the substance, but little is something which has relation with nothing, or we can say zero. So then what we will do, whenever there is something very little, we say that it is bare, barely, or hardly, we can say. Let's clear. I can't even clear the entire thing, but don't think about this end here. Little. Little is, that means where something is very less. So barely means when you barely have something, or when you barely want to do something. So this is the relation which we can relate with little or nothing. Similarly with profusely, what is the meaning of profusely actually? What is profusely? Profusely means abundant. So I will write it here below. Profuse means abundant. Abundant, what is the meaning of abundant? Abundant means countless or available. So little, we can get some kind of a difference between barely and profusely. Let's go on to the next word, that is scarcely. Scarcely is also something which we can relate with little. And then we have rarely. Rarely is also something which we can relate with little. So the exceptional word or the odd one out here is profusely. So the correct answer is profusely. Hope this is clear. If you have not written it down or if you have not jotted down, do jot it, because barely, scarcely and rarely are something which we hardly do or which refers to something very less. And profusely means something which is very available, abundant, and it is countless. Yes, clear. Next, move on to the next question. Question number 14. Fill the gaps. I have dash work to do. When we refer to work, actually, when we refer to some kind of work or the amount of work, always refer to lots of. So, much, many, more. Though they are determiners, though they are the in the adjective form, we will always go with a lot of or lots of. So, we can also say, use the word lots of, but much, many, more. This is comparison. Many is which is countable, and much is which is uncountable. So you can see that whenever we are referring to some kind of work or some kind of task we need to do, we can use the word lot or lots of. Yes? Hope this is clear. Next, question number 15. Fill the gap. I am right. Again, what is this? Because there is a question mark at the end and before the question mark there is a blank. So what we identify this with? This is nothing else but टैग क्वेश्चन. यस, टैग क्वेश्चन मतलब जुड़ा हुआ एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चन जो एक rhetorical फॉर्म में है. Rhetorical means you are saying the answer but at the same time you are asking, or when you are asking the question but at the same time you are answering. So that is a kind of a tag question. So this form is always, whenever you are finding for the helping verb here, when there is a helping verb here, try always to refer with the blank as when the helping verb is in the affirmation, that is when it is affirmative, the question will be, the tag question will be in the form of negative. And whenever the first part is in negative, vice versa actually, the relation will be affirmative. So hope this is clear. You can understand here what we need to do again. Like for example, I'm just giving an example. Today is a sunny day. So when we say that today is, for example, hope you can see the board. Yes, today is a Sunday, or we can say today is a Sunday, or we can say today is a Friday. So when there is an affirmation of is, we will put the tag question as isn't it. So always it is in the form of apostrophe. So isn't it. So this is the question, this is the tag question here. Similarly, because the sentence here is I am right, then we will put it aren't I. So what it is there? There is the form of apostrophe aren't I, and that too in the form of negative. So this is the correct answer. Yes? Hope this is clear. Question tag, it may come because you need to know these minute things in relation to grammar. the grammar section. Next we have question number 16, that is, teachers are respected by their pupils. Pupils means students. Add an active voice here. Now see the sentence here, when the actual work, whenever you need to find out the active and passive voice, though active and passive voice and reported speech, that means direct and indirect speech, is not mentioned in the syllabus, but still we can do one or two questions based on this, so that you can have a track on the things which you have done till your 12th. So what is voice actually? Active and passive voice. Whenever we need to find out the voice, when it is in the active form, the actual work, whatever the verb, the action is made, it is made by the subject. So we have done a recording class on voice and subject, and that is the active voice and passive voice. There you can relate, but still if you are in a hurry and you are in a crisis of time, you can go through your grammar books so that you can quickly revise whatever things you have learned till now on the basis of voice. So voice in the form of active voice, always the work is done by the subject. But when there is an indirect reference to the work and the form is in the work which is not done by the subject itself, and the subject is something which is passive, we term the sentence in the form of passive voice. So subject, the relation between subject, object, and in between the verb is the sentence is actually voice. So the tense is always in the third form. Whenever we get the word, whenever we get the verb, actually the verb is in the form of third form of the tense. Yes. So here we need to find the active voice, and that is, it should be in the first form, and that too the work should be directly done by pupils. So because pupils is the object here, it will directly go, whenever it is active voice, pupils will become the subject. Here it is the object, but it will turn into subject. So this teachers will go into, because here it is the subject, it will go into the object in the active form. And because this is the object, it will go into the subject form. So let's find out the passive form. Pupils respect teachers. Pupils respect their teachers. Both A and B, none of this. So between these two, we have very clear options. Pupils respect teachers. And here the sentence is, teachers are respected by their pupils. So whenever there is the possession, there, the possessive word, that is the adjective possession or the relation, we also need to put here there. So this is the correct answer. Pupils respect their teachers, not other teachers. Yes, the sentence is their teachers. Next we have question number 17, moving a bit faster. The cherry on the cake. So whenever we get this kind of an idiom, what we understand, when we put a cherry on the cake, when the cake is complete, when the decoration of the cake, when everything, the garnishing of the cake is complete, and we put the cherry on top of the cake. So that is something when everything is complete, everything is perfect, and at the last we put something to shine or something to glitter upon it, upon the cake, or anything which this can be related to any of the work which we do, anything which we can see. So cherry on the cake, when you relate this idiom with our normal activities, when we are actually we baked a cake and we are decorating a cake and we have completed the decoration, and when the decoration is perfect, then we put at the end a cherry on the cake. So that is something which is very near to perfection. So we will go with the option there is a cherry on the cake. We love cherry on cakes, something perfect by the end, something red by the end. So the correct option is C. Whenever we get the word perfection, don't move to any other option, go directly to this, because the word perfect is mentioned here. Yes? Next question number 18, fill the blank. Drizzle, shower, dash, gallop. Now see, when Drizzle and shower, that means something which is drizzle. Drizzle means the low intensity of rain when it is raining, but in a lighter form. The intensity of rain is not in the form of shower or thunder. The rain is very pleasant. The pleasant kind of rain which we can enjoy is called drizzle. But the higher, once the intensity is once the intensity is increased, it turns into shower when it is heavily raining like cats and dogs. So that is an idiom, cats and dogs. So here what happens, we need to understand that gallop is something when horses are galloping. That means they are running very, very fast. So whenever there is a horse race, you can see horses running very fast, and the intensity, the pace in which they run is identified as gallop. But when they are just walking or making the sound of with their with the iron plates that are placed in their toe, not toe also actually, in their feet. So that type of a sound is identified. If you don't know till now, do just jot it down that it is trot. Yes, trot is the way in which horses simply walk. And when they run faster, that is gallop. Okay, this is clear. Moving on to question number 19. The journal is published biennially. What do you mean by the quoted word? So biennial. What is biennial? Biennial means anything which is related with years or occurrence of years. So this is a common question which is frequently asked. Biennial means which appears every 2 years, which is single 1 year, that means it is annual. When it is 10 years, it is decennial. And when it is 100 years, it is centennial. I'm just writing it down. So hope you can relate this with the occurrence, with their occurrence. It may be the publication of a newspaper or a journal, or it may be the celebration of some kind of an event or inauguration or some kind of a foundation day. So anything which is related with the occurrence of years, we can write it. We can say in the form of this: annual, biennial, decennial, centennial. So this is the correct answer is after the occurrence after every 2 years is biennial. Next question number 20. Ira said to me, do you have a bike? Reported speech. Give the indirect speech. So you have also a part that is reported speech where you need to know direct and indirect speech. Direct and indirect speech, the basic is that when you are directly speaking a word from first person to second person, we identify it as direct speech. And when the same speech is referred to someone else, that is the third person, we use the word indirect speech. And in indirect speech, no quotation is word, and in direct speech, quotation is word, because exactly whatever is said is quoted and expressed. So sentences, when the quotation is over, it is called indirect speech. So when we need to find out because here there is the quotation given here, what we can say that is in the form of direct speech, and when it is indirect, we will just refer to change in the tense. So Ira said to me. So when do you have a bike is mentioned here, because do is here something which we can relate with asking. So Ira asked me. So Ira asked me if I had a bike. So this is the correct answer. So directly we can go whenever we are getting the word asked, and here it is something which is asking. There is a question here. The question mark is here. We can relate that something is been asked, and so we will go directly to the option where asked is written. Yes. Then we have question number 21. The lamb bleated in fear. Identify the figure of speech. Now, just refer to the core meaning of this sentence. The lamb bleated in fear. So when there is a reference of sounds made by animals, what happens? Whenever it is the sound, it is nothing else but onomatopoeia. So anything which is relation to sounds made by animals, made by human beings, made by machines, anything is related with the figure of speech, that is onomatopoeia. Yes. Next we have question number 22. Refer dash the example dash phytoplankton dash detail explanation. Again we have the relation to preposition, because at least 2 to 3 questions will be based on prepositions and determiners. So you need to have a good hold upon these two things in order to improve your vocabulary. So whenever we get the word refer, always after the refer the suffix is always to. So the preposition is to here. Refer to the example. So to we have how many to? This is the to. So we will go with this option, to the example of phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, hope if you have heard this word before, the plants or the plants actually which grow below water. Of phytoplankton for detailed explanation. So there is a kind of a reference to some kind of an experiment done with phytoplanktons. Okay. Next, question number 23. Necessity is the mother of all invention. Identify the figure of speech. This kind of sentences is actually a kind of a sentence where you can directly relate that there is a relation of necessity with motherhood, and that therefore we can say that this is a pure example of personification, because necessity is related with motherly attributes, and that is of invention. So the correct answer is personification. So these are very clear examples, pure examples of figure of speech. Next, moving on to question number 24. Find the antonym of turbulent. What is turbulent? Now, before finding the antonym, that is the opposite word, we need to find out the meaning of turbulent. Turbulent means disturbed, or turbulent where there is some kind of a chaos. So chaos, disturbance, distress, these terms, or these are the connotations of turbulent or turbulence. So we need to find the antonym, and whatever is something which is very silent, which is very normal, passive, peaceful is termed as the antonym of turbulent. So peaceless, peaceful, disturbed, aggression. So the correct answer is peaceful. Yes. Next we come to the last question for today's session. So choose the wrong spelt word. So these kind of examples may also come where all the 4 options may not be the same word. So there may be different words in the 4 options, and you need to find out which word is actually in the wrong spelling. So here again there is a trick with the question itself, because again we have, I am writing it in red, the dangerous thing. Choose the wrong spelt word. So you may be in the search of the correct spelling, because we always have that psychological tendency of making some kind of thing in the positive sense or affirmative sense. We may be in the search of the correct word, but actually the question is wrong. So the wrong spell word is what? Mechanic is correct. Measure is correct. Medieval, magazine. So magazine is correct. Medieval is what? The correct spelling is M-E. So M-E-D-I-A-V-A-L. Medieval, the correct spelling is medieval. So hope this is clear. With this we come to the end of today's session, and I will just add a short video in the live session itself, today itself, or you can go to the recording session also, that is also made available for everyone, for each and every student, so that you can avail the sounds, actually the sounds made by animals, because relating back to your primary level, you may make a few mistakes because there is also a time crisis. I'm just trying to add or help you in this thing by making a reference to at least 10 words, 10 sounds that are very much probable that may come in your exam. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you for being with us and hope that you all join me in the next session, which will be conducted day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow is Sunday. Oh, it will be conducted on Monday. So those students who have their slots on 21st itself, best of luck for everyone, each and every student. My wishes and my blessings are always with you so that you can crack the exam with high marks and you can go to your desired university or college. And for the students who are going to give your exam, you have your slots after 21, that after 21st. I will conduct the classes on 22, that is on 22nd. And for them, even for each and every one, my blessings and my wishes are always with you, and all the best of your luck so that you can crack your exam. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you for